runaway jumper in the night. I think I'm gonna feel that heat. Think I might cry. We can't keep it all bottled inside. I'm a runaway jumper in the night.
Welcome back to Music Around the Bay. My name is Allie Sealey, and with me I have John Preston.
Hi, Allie.
Hello. What's great about John is he is a firefighter, a veteran, and he helps people through his music. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about your major label and what you're doing with it?
Okay. It took a lot of work to get there, right? You know, you're in the hustle with me. I'm currently on Contra Entertainment, and we have Universal Music is distributing everything for us right now. So pretty amazing, unreal to see. Not only right now are we climbing the charts on the digital radio charts, we're 73 in the world today.
Yay!
Number 18 rock song in the world today.
Climbing up.
But the distribution's unreal. It's a whole different world. You know, we're in Macy's. Our video is. We're in 24-hour fitness, all these different places that now I have the chance to go out and actually see myself or hear myself. So it's that extra kick. And what's cool about it is I've been able to stay me through the whole thing. I've been able to continue on the mission that we're doing, which is we're trying to stop veteran suicide. We're trying to make real headway, real change, instead of bringing awareness and saying, okay, 22 veterans a day take their lives. Okay, now what are we doing about it? And I want to climb to be the biggest star on earth with every ability to create real change, write laws in Congress, do the things that are actually going to affect our veteran community versus this whole, you know, everybody do 22 push-ups when they don't know what they're doing push-ups for, you know, so.
What got you so motivated into helping the veterans? I know you're a veteran yourself, but do you have a story behind this?
Oh, do we have a couple hours? No, I started this 4 years ago, back to music. I've been playing music since I was a kid, and successful at it a couple times prior to that. But I got back into music. At that point, I'm a combat veteran myself, dealing with post-traumatic stress. I wanted to address it publicly with what I was writing, because I was writing songs that needed to be heard. So at that point, signed with an indie label, started working on that and moving towards that goal. And along the way, and this is probably, you know, the hardest part to get to and talk about, 2 years into this process, my brother, who's a Marine Corps veteran, who was a police officer for 20 years, took his own life. And it was, yeah, it's the biggest kick in the face you could ever have. You're a public advocate for veteran suicide, and you lose your best friend. You know, he was my best friend. He taught me how to talk to girls, how to, you know, walk cool and be socially accepted in the world, because I was a goofy little kid. And losing him and realizing that I wasn't able to be there for him when I should have been. And I was reaching out to the world at that point. I'd already saved veterans' lives. I'd already brought people into therapy and helped them, and I missed it with my brother. It piqued my motivation. I went sober. I stopped drinking. I just changed direction in what I was doing in life, and it's got us here. You know, executive produced an album that hit 21 on the rock charts, and that's when we changed levels. That's when we signed majors. That's when, you know, everything became what it is today.
Yeah, sometimes that pain, I guess, is also a motivator.
Yeah.
And it's like turning that into something positive is so amazing, you know, because it can be so easy for people to obviously not turn it into a positive. But when you started with music and you started writing, how did that kind of did it change your writing? Like, did it make it more easier for you to write a song because you went through this kind of traumatic experience in your life?
The writing process for me, I call magic. I'm sure you've
got
like
your divine.
Yeah, because it's not me when I write. I released Superman Falls was the first song I released after Mike's death. That was like, I thought like, okay, I just wrote my hit, which I did in a way. You know, it was that push to this level where Before I'm Gone right now is crushing it. But I wrote that song. I woke up in the middle of the night, 3 in the morning, singing a chorus, you know. It's everything. And I'm like, oh, what is this? You know? So I rushed out to the kitchen, I think, and sat down with the guitar, and I wrote that song in 10 minutes, you know? And so I knew, like, for sure, there's things now connecting that are working on my writing. I wrote an entire album after Mike's death in a week, you know? So it's definitely not necessarily making a difference in my writing, but it's making me write more, which is good. Yeah.
How would you describe music for yourself? Is it therapeutic? Is it just who you are?
Oh my God. If I don't have headphones on, I'm having a rough day. Like, I think about it. If I'm driving in a car and say I had phone calls that whole time, I had interviews or I had business calls or whatever, and then I get to my destination, I feel terrible that I didn't hear music, you know? Like, to me, it's my therapy. I hope that we can be that for other people, you know, and not just therapeutic. Before I'm gone, that's my personal suicide note. You know, a lot of people don't know that. I wrote how I felt when I wanted to end it. And in that song, that person doesn't make it. You know, like, you watch the video, she's gone, you know, and that was the story I wanted to tell, because I want people to see it, and I want them to see me now. You know, look at me today. You know, look at where I am. Look at everything I've gone through, this box of mess in the past. And how do we make that better? You know, what do we do? And we have to take that and just let it stay in a rear view, you know, and push forward towards whatever your goals are. You know, you don't have to be a rock star to be awesome, but push towards those goals.
It's pretty incredible. It's a lot.
I know,
that
I'm looking at
you're
your
saying
face right
now.
now. You're like,
I'm like,
she just fell in love.
My heart's melted. There's just so much good that comes from all of this, and I think it takes a lot of courage to try to stand out for something and have a voice. So when you started playing guitar and stuff, like, did you just all of a sudden write songs from the gate, or was it life experiences that actually kind of catapulted that? I know you said it was kind of divine for you.
I wrote from the gate. I was writing poetry. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't even know that I could probably sing. You know, I remember in chorus class, maybe I would sit in the back, but I could sing real good, you know. But I never wanted that attention from singing, you know. So I knew I could write young. I wrote poetry about my father was hit head on by a drunk driver when I was a kid, so it was already like trauma in the life, you know, things that were already creating this emotional connection to the universe that writes my music for me. And so I was writing, you know, different poetry and stuff like that, and once I realized I could play guitar, which magically happened too, I had it, you know. So
did you teach yourself how to play guitar?
Yeah,
Oh,
guitar,
nice.
piano, any instrument that I play now was self-taught. So.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Who was your favorite artist growing up, or musician?
So I was probably a baby, like 3-4 years old, and I'm flipping through these stack of records, and I found one with an apple on it, and I thought, this is, you know, this might be a kid's record, and put it on a little blue record player, and the first hit was, it was Revolution, right? And I was just like blown away by the Beatles, you know, and who wouldn't be? It's the greatest band ever to be. But same time frame, you know, a couple years later, I had a teacher in 5th grade that was, or 4th grade and 5th grade. He had both years. There was a Beatlemaniac. So he gave me old albums. He gave me all these things. So I literally started my life and my music influence based on the Beatles. And you can tell in my music, because their albums are so eclectic, right? One song sounds like something, one sounds like something else. I have the same problem. You know, I write what I feel when I feel it, and I record that. And that's the reason we're able to break genres. You know, we're in adult contemporary rock and the global charts right now, not just stuck in one category. So maybe we'll play some country soon, you know.
Nice.
But
I like that country and southern rock and all that.
Well, that's where I come from. And
Yeah.
I grew up on Garth, too, and I love me some Garth, so.
Yeah, that's hard not to like.
Yeah.
So what kind of catapulted you into becoming a firefighter and also the Army, going into the military?
The Marine Corps was guaranteed. I had to. Both my brothers and my father are Marines.
Okay.
My dad was a Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient. And I remember as a child, my dad coming out and he would bring his Purple Heart out and present it, and how proud he was of it. And then I watched my older brothers go, and I saw now, it's almost emotional talking about it, how proud my father was of them going across the grinder in Paris Island and becoming Marines. So I totally messed around in high school because I knew I was going to be a Marine. I didn't care about college. I didn't care about any of that. I did want to be a rock star, I totally wanted to be a rock star.
Were you like rocking out while in the military?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, because you said like you had your first label experience.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, wait a minute. How are you like over in this area, and then also, how did that work out?
My career started in 2004 while I was in Iraq. I've been playing and writing probably since I was about 16. We went out on a mission. We were opening a school. It's the kind of world that, like, at that point in time, the media didn't portray, they didn't show. We were opening schools. These kids loved us in Iraq. They absolutely loved us. We were their heroes, because we had candy. But
the chicken.
we had candy. But
hey, I like candy too.
See? So basically, we opened this school up, and these kids surrounded us, and were so excited, and they were clapping and chanting, and they were singing, "Good, good America, good, good America."
Oh my gosh.
And I had to write that, I had to write that.
Wow,
And
yeah.
I wrote it, and I wrote this battle of East versus West, this concept of, what is it like here, and this is the life we're living, and we don't want you here, and, your future and your children do want us here, and that song, we made a 3.5 megapixel digital camera video, and we used Windows Media Player in Iraq. My buddy went to the comm shop and, like, cut this video up. So, make this video, we put it on a website, this is pre-YouTube, johnpreston.us, and at that point,
That's pretty amazing.
they played it at a meeting with the battalion. The writer from LA Times saw it, came and found me. We front paged the newspaper, and the next day, it was 500,000 downloads. It shut down our computer. And remember, this isn't like 500,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is 500,000 people clicking and waiting 4 hours for the video to load up, right? So it was amazing. It was incredible. It was the first time that had ever been done, that a musician in this world is portraying this world. So I thought I was going to be a superstar. And it didn't work out that way. I got back and ended up stopping music probably 6 months after I got out of the Marine Corps, just because too many flops. And, that's kind of how I transitioned into firefighting, is I didn't think I was ever going to be a musician again. So.
Was it just discouraging for you, or?
Yeah, and to anyone that's trying, anyone that's playing, yourself, myself, don't stop. Don't stop, because it never goes away. I read The Alchemist. That's the reason I started back, because it talks about constantly knocking on your shoulder what your true personal legend is in life. And if you walk away from it, it'll forever haunt you. It'll forever talk to you and tell you you're supposed to be doing it. So.
Okay, yeah. So some of the discouragement that you faced as a musician led you on this path towards being a firefighter. And how long have you been a firefighter?
6 years.
And none of the firehouse knew that you played music.
No, not in the beginning.
Like,
Not in the beginning. I remember, though,
he's
like,
a closet musician.
I was. I was keeping it in. You got to understand the firehouse. Once it's out, it's out. So I think the first time I ever played, I was still on probation, and I was with a captain that he tells this story so much better than I do, because it was like a mind-blowing experience for him. But we were doing inspections on Stanford campus, and we were wandering around, and I was like, I want to play that piano. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And he's thinking I'm going to go over and pluck and whatever. And it's summertime, so nobody's there. I think they have, like, students that come in from other places that stay on the campus. And I sat down in this open little, like, hallway room or whatever, and I started playing. I started playing one of my songs. It was, "It's a beautiful morning." You know, it was so beautiful. And, like, the sound in that room was epic, you know. So it's really big and really loud. And people start coming out of their rooms. And they're all, like, coming to watch me play. And my captain, like, afterwards, I remember specifically him talking to me that night, like, pulling me aside and going, "Why are you here? Like, what are you doing? You know, you're so amazing." And I'm like, oh, gosh. But that was the first time I felt this resurgence or this feeling that maybe I could do it. You know, when you are around musicians, when we're in our world and we're competing and we're fighting for the next, you know, show or spot, you're around a lot of talented people. You know, when you're around other people that don't play and you play for them, suddenly you get a boost of confidence from their reaction. You know, so yeah, I didn't play forever. I hid it for as long as I could because people talk mad smack about it. You know, they still do. They still do.
But what action did you take after that point that led you to where you are now?
It was piece by piece. Like I said, I read The Alchemist, and 2 weeks after that, I was out on injury. 2 weeks after that, I was on the phone with Pacific Records because I knew these guys from '04. On the phone with Pacific Records, on the phone with Dave Neese, who does all my film now, on the phone with my old guitarists that I played with in the Marine Corps, both of them, and said, "We're going to do this, you know, we're going to work." My brain clicked, and I wanted it back. I wanted it back more than I ever could have imagined. So there's a hustle to it. There's a hustle to it that people don't understand. Some of us
Major
get
hustle.
lucky and get managers right off the bat or this right off the bat, but here's the deal, they're not going to work like you. It's your dream, not theirs. You know, to them it's money driven, or it's, you know, you are the only one that has your vision of what it really is, you know. And I look back, it's cool now, but when I first started, 200 maybe 300 messages a night, different media outlets, different you know, people that I just wanted to share on social media. "Hey, you got a big page, can you share my stuff?" Over and over and over and over again. And out of those 300 messages, I'd get one back. But that one back was an article in Marine Corps Times. You know, that one back was a TV appearance on KTVU. And it kept the hustle going. It kept my brain thinking, okay, I can do this. So I changed my expectation. I want 5 back now. You know, and now it's to the point where I don't write messages anymore. I get messages. And now I get to pick and choose which ones I respond to and what media I actually want. And I have relationships with people in media now. So I can call them and say, "Hey, we got a new album." "Oh, we'll have you on TV this week." You know, so a very different world, but it doesn't happen overnight. You know, years of pounding my head up against the wall going, why am I still doing this? Why am I still doing this? But then you think of what we're doing. You know, I get a message from a veteran telling me, "Dude, you're my hero. You saved my life." You know, that changes every bit of perspective, because I don't care how much it hurts me right now. I'm the one that has to stay strong and has to keep pushing, because we can alter and change an entire community.
Yeah, so what is this doing for veterans, and how is this helping? Are you participating with nonprofits? What are the things that...
We are. If you see me play, you're probably at a nonprofit show. You know, like we're doing a fundraiser for them. I work locally in the Bay Area. I work with Warrior Canine Connection. I have a bunch of different nonprofits that I advocate for. My last album that we released, the Battle Cry album, 100% of that went to the Valkyrie Initiative. They are for veteran suicide, but also for police and fire suicide, which was big for me because that was right when I lost my brother. And then I'm a firefighter, and I have things that create post-traumatic stress on a monthly basis at least. I understand our world too. And then right now, currently, we're donating 100% of Before I'm Gone is from my sales. Everything that I take in is going to stop soldier suicide. So the good thing about that, the positive thing about that, it's not giving money. You know, we know sales sometimes cannot be friendly. You know, and we've done well. We've charted in iTunes with this release, so we're selling. But it's not about that for me. It's about the fact that now I have 10 different phone numbers. If you go to John Preston untiltedmusic.com right now, you can see all the nonprofits I work for. I have 10 different phone numbers that when that veteran reaches out to me on Facebook, when that veteran calls me and says, I need help, I have numbers to call. I have people to reach out to immediately and say, I've got someone that needs help, let's go. You know, and we've done that before. We've had missing veterans where we had to, literally they put a message on Facebook saying, I'm ending my life, and disappear. And we've had teams go out and find them, you know, just incredible things that are not seen if it isn't public, you know, and in these situations, a lot of them, I don't want them to be seen. I want it to be quiet. It's better that way. It's better for them. But, you know, when we make it public, we make it better. We put a story in People magazine. I have a veteran that, you know, has dealt with a lot of issues and a lot of problems, and he was going to take his life, and I called him that night. Yeah, and he didn't take his life because of that. He sent me a last-ditch effort message saying, I can't be here anymore. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I called him that night. We talked. He went to the VA. He got help, you know, and he was proud enough of his help to tell his story, you know. So we put that in People magazine, you know. Now we're taking it public. Now we're putting it somewhere real, you know. So those are the kind of things that we're doing. Yeah.
Are you playing locally? What are your motivations for the future in music?
So it's fun to talk about this because I've probably in the last 4 years played 40 shows. That's nothing. Like, I know guys that played 250 last year, you know, and it's tough to play in the Bay Area. It's tough to gig because the music scene's not what it should be. You know, if you think of San Francisco back in the Joplin days, right, when you had the greatest musicians in the world all living out of one like apartment. Yeah, I had a friend that played with the Monster Kongs with Edwin Starr, and he was living with Crosby and all these people that were the monsters in music, and they were all just going together, hitting clubs and playing together. That's not here anymore. The music world is all digital. What we touch, what we see, and swipe, see, swipe, right? I watch your video, I'm halfway through it, and I'm already saying, what's next? And you're playing a beautiful song, like an amazing song. Why did I just scroll past it? I don't know. But it's killing the patience of going and sitting in a bar and listening, and there's no money in it. You know, like, people playing gig and playing gig and playing gig, you need to figure out your path. That might be your path. My friend Scott, he's played and gigged and played and gigged. He's on tour with Charlie Daniels now, you know, so you can go that way. But my route was attacking the media, you know, going after actual real content, right? I play a bar, there's no content. But if you look back in the last 4 years, there's 300 or 400 articles written about me. You know, if you look, there's 40 TV appearances. There's, you know, everything from People magazine to Huffington Post to, you know, the largest venues that you can get written, we have it. And that was just focusing my hustle. If I was gigging, and we know what goes into that, you know, getting all the equipment, doing all that, traveling around, I wouldn't have the time or ability to do what I did, you know, and maintain a job as a firefighter. So, yeah, definitely, right now the music scene is not what I wish it would be, you know, even in the places where it's supposed to be, like LA, it's pay to play, buy your tickets, you know. So you have to make it another way, and you have to let the world know you're here in a different way. You know, right now, I haven't played a show in 3 months, but I have the number 18 rock song in the world. So, yeah, it's all about how you approach it. And again, going back to that hustle and everything you're doing, be strategic, and when something doesn't work, change your plan, you know. So
it's interesting because I think I'm kind of getting at, from you, a kind of message to people, especially musicians, but people who are inspired to do this, to not be scared of doing it yourself.
Yeah,
you have to do it yourself.
Don't be afraid to do it yourself, and don't think that there's one way. You know, don't think I've got this one way and that's how I'm supposed to do it. Like, you went to Nashville and recorded, right?
Yep.
If you thought in your head the only way I'm ever going to make it is if I go to Nashville and record it, then you're lowering your limits, right? I think, okay, the only way I could do it is I have to have this project that guarantees me the billboards and this. I didn't get that project, that didn't happen. But so much happened around it. When Battle Cry was released, I had a whole different proposal that was supposed to be a whole different album, and that's not what came out. Mm-hmm. That's not what happened. So don't be afraid to change course. You always have to change course as long as your final vision, what you're looking way over top of everything. Oh, my camera died. Your final vision, and you're looking way over top of everything. And I see that, I'm going to write laws in Congress. One day I'm going to pin a Nobel Peace Prize to my chest, even though it's a coin. But, yeah, these are my real goals. Everything that happens in between here, I'm okay to snake around and go through,
Yay.
Nice
right.
reaction.
Well, it's so true. I definitely feel that just by going to different places, I've seen the different reactions and how people participate in the music scenes.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you're saying, and I think there's not one way.
Yeah.
I mean, we see people, but I also think, I'm wondering, how do you feel about the whole aspect of being a star in the music scene? Like, is that the only way that you can make it? Is if you're just an A-list celebrity, that's it?
That's my goal.
You're
That's
I'm
my
not
goal.
stopping until I've reached A-list status.
The next time we do this, Us Weekly will be outside the door taking photos.
There'll be paparazzi.
Yeah. And no, but that's the plan, like, you look at the power that it holds, right? The power that it holds. And I think we talked on the phone, and I told you, Kim Kardashian sent a tweet today. If she sent one out that said, Mr. President, I would like to meet with you, hashtag let's talk business, whatever. Hashtag I'm Kim, hashtag I rule the world.
I rule the world.
Hashtag Kanye. Anyways, if Kim does that, within a week, her and Donald Trump would be sitting down. They would meet. That's the power that you have in celebrity, For me and what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm not looking for a sustainable business. I'm not looking to get rich. I'm not looking to do... I will get rich. It's going to happen in the process. But that's not what my goal is, Of course I want to live happy and healthy and get to play music doing it. But I want to write laws in Congress, like specifically for the veteran community. I personally need that celebrity. I think that it's part of the puzzle. And when I look at like the adult contemporary chart right now on the DRT, and it's me and Justin Timberlake and Bruno Mars and Pink and Maroon 5 and every name that I'm saying right now, and these songs are what's playing on mainstream radio, we're getting there. We're getting there. So. Yeah, you can sustain without it, of course. You can be a working musician, and that's what you do. Depending on how good you are, you could studio musician, you could do all kinds of different things. If you have a dream like you and I, where we want to be stars and we don't want to play other people's music and we don't want to, play bars and play cover songs and do that, we have to look at the top of the world, and we have to say, I do need this celebrity, So.
That's an interesting perspective. So I'm appreciative of what you had to say a lot. Do you think that you want to jam? Like, do you want to play some songs?
Do I want to jam? Do I want to? Let's
do you want to maybe, I don't know,
jam.
share some tunes with us?
I heard you didn't bring a guitar. What is that all about?
Because I was like, hey, you want to bring your guitar?
Yeah, okay. Two's better than one.
I know, but you said I didn't have to bring it.
Oh, is that what I did? Did I do
like,
that?
I asked you. I was like, are you going to bring yours? I was like, okay, I'm not going to bring mine. Do whatever
right,
you feel.
cool,
Yeah, that's
sweet.
fine. All right, so
just
what's the original
on the subject
song?
of what we talked about, so the song's called California.
Okay.
This is my next single. I don't care if I have to spend $1 million to record this song. This is my next single. And it's away from the veteran world more so, but this is my story, of coming out here for the first time, being this wide-eyed kid from Kentucky and, saying, I'm going to live my dreams, and it took a long time to get here, 15 years from when I entered this state, or 18 years. But here we are, and it's so cool to play it now and feel it And I actually wrote this for this next album that's coming up, so
Nice.
you get a debut.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it.
Staring out a window, 'cause the cold outside keeps me here in place. Locked inside a daydream, wondering if I'll ever get away yet. Seasons will change, but the darkness still falls over this place. Wish I could stay in California, where the sunlight will shine on my fame. California, I'm walking the life that I've dreamed. I won't have to wait for summertime. Standing in a shadow that is cast from a life of disbelief. A 9 to 5, my payment, my glory's trapped in the hands of a thief. Seasons will change, but my heart now resides in another place. I'm gonna stay in California, where the white sands are calling my name. California, I'm walking the life that I've dreamed. I won't have to wait summertime, won't have to wait. No, now I'm not gonna wait for California, where the sunlight will shine on my face. I won't have to wait for summertime. Staring out a window, 'cause the cold outside keeps me here. California.
I loved it. So terrific.
I love that. Won't have to wait. It's so
Oh,
fun.
California.
Yeah.
Loved it. I was already ready to get in there, and I was
Yeah,
like, ooh.
definitely my next single. I want to chart the hell out of that song, you know. But I love that tune, and I wrote that. My father actually had a song called California. Right, my dad played music and wrote.
Oh.
I wish I would have talked about it more in this interview.
Mm.
But Dad played music and wrote, and he had a song called California, and I couldn't remember the words, and neither could my uncle. So I wrote this as an homage to him. You know, it's very similar to the sound that it had. So
Oh, I loved
super
it.
cool.
It's very well written as well, and I liked the softer part of it at the end.
Yeah.
It really brought you.
Yeah, it's got a fun production too. I can't wait to really produce it.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. So we talked about We'll Do the Dance, right?
Yeah.
This song to me, one of my first memories of listening to music was the Beatles and then Garth. You know, I got the album with just Garth on it, right? And I listened to that song over and over and over again. Fast forward years later, I'm coming to my brother's house after my father's funeral, and I picked up a guitar, and I hadn't been able to think. You know, I had fell apart after I lost my dad, and my nieces were like, play something, and in my brain I wasn't able to like come up with anything or think properly, and I just picked up the guitar, and this was it, you know.
Aw.
Looking back on the memory of dance we shared beneath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives better left to chance. Could have missed the pain, and I'd have had to miss the dance. In holding you, I've held everything. For a moment, wasn't I a king? If I'd only known how the king would fall, then who's to say? You know, I might have changed it all. And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all go. Our life is better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, and I'd have had to miss the dance. Yes, my life is better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, and I'd have had to miss the dance.
I love that song so much.
Right? Like,
It's so good.
took my world away. Like when I was a kid, I swear to God, I was playing Sonic the Hedgehog, right? And that whole night, the dance was on repeat, and I think I beat the game. You know, it was like 3 or 4 in the
Wow,
morning
it's,
as
like,
a
motivating.
9-year-old, like kicking butt on Sonic, and like
Oh my lord.
over and over. I remember pausing the game and going, "What is this song?" Because it was like the last song on the album, I think, and just repeat the rest of the night. And it's impacted me a lot in my life now. You know, like the King Would Fall. That was my dad. You know, and just knowing now that it's my dance. You know. And
Yeah.
it's mine, and we have to do that now, and we have a lot to do. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, thanks for sharing your talents and just everything. It's so motivational. There's so much courage that you display and so much perseverance in your life. So I really appreciate you coming out and doing this. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't forget to follow and
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, JohnPrestonMusic.com, Facebook.com/JohnPrestonMusic. Twitter is John Preston USA. Yeah, at John Preston USA. Instagram is John Preston Music. If you need to talk to me, if you're having problems, hit me up on Facebook. I still check it. It's still mine. And I will be sure to get to you immediately, and we'll get things taken care of. I have resources. If you need me, let me know.
And tell them what's the YouTube link for.
It's John Preston Music.
Okay.
And some great videos on there.
Yeah.
Day to Night, which was a few years back, I brought out a wife of a veteran that was killed, or a Marine that was killed in combat. Brought her out to shoot her story and tell his story. Amazing video. Before I'm Gone. A lot of cool stuff on there. So go check it out.
I've checked it out, and it's really awesome. So I totally am in support.
Boom.
Yep.
I got Allie's support. I'm good. I don't need anything else.
Oh my gosh. All right. This has been an episode of Music Around the Bay. My name is Allie Sealey, and again, this is John Preston. If you guys would like to follow him, he just gave you all the links. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And we will be back very shortly with another guest, so stay tuned.